And we're live. International break or not, the content has the content. We've got Laurie in the building. What you saying, my guy? And he's ready. He's ready. He's ready. We love it. We love it. We love it. You saying, my guy?
Yeah, I'm all right, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Do you know what? I'm actually good because we've actually got stuff to talk about. As you know, the international break typically is dead, but you know, the whole Wembley stuff, our season so far. I want to ask you about Gyökeres. It feels like every time I've got you here, we offer our thoughts about Gyökeres and all that. But other than that, I'm good, man. I don't look at the table, but apparently we're top, man. And that leads me to ask you the first question. Obviously,
First, I want to say, though, big up yourself, man, because as I've said previously, and no cap, you are one of the hardest working Arsenal YouTubers. So big up yourself.
Kind, man.
Your work ethic is laudable, bro. It's up there. So big up yourself on that.
You're making me shy, man. I appreciate that, man. I'm trying, man. I'm trying. You know what? You have to, man. It's the minimum. You know how this industry goes. You have to just keep ticking over and things like that. But I want to ask you,
man. Keep doing your thing.
Come on. I want to ask you something because on the live stream, I was asking my fans yesterday, and it provided mixed answers. Obviously, it's what 6, 7, 8 games into the season. But if you had to say, who's your player of the season for us so far? If the season was 7, 8 games or whatever it is.
Yeah, well, it's 7 Premier League games, 10 games in total.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know what? That is a very good question. One I've been asked previously. I would have to say Jurriën Timber, man. Mr. Consistency. You know what I mean? He doesn't always stand out. You know what I mean? He doesn't always
get the headlines,
highlight reels. But what he is extremely consistent. I mean, to me, he very rarely drops below a 7 or an 8 out of 10. I think he's arguably the best right back in the Premier League at the moment. In fact, I would go as far as to say he is. He's very capable on the ball. Physically, he's a beast. He's brave. He's got everything, man. Yeah, I'm a real big fan of him. I think there's a couple other players that could get honourable mentions at this stage. Gyökeres, you can make a case for him.
Quality against West Ham.
Yeah, and he seems to be getting better game on game. Scored a goal against West Ham. Has created the most chances for the team, I believe, overall with 12.
How do you feel about that? Sorry to cut you, but how do you feel about that with Rice creating the most chances?
I think he's growing into that role, man, in midfield. I mean, I know some people say he's a 6, he's an 8. I just think he's a fantastic player, man. You know what I mean? And his engine is remarkable. I think all round, he's really, really good. And I think that debate between him and Caicedo is a live debate, man. I think, you know what I mean?
It's got to be right, surely.
Yeah, but
I rate Caicedo,
well, man. You speak to Chelsea fans, they're high on him, and I can see why. And now that Caicedo started adding goals to his game as well, he's up there, bro. But listen, Declan is Mr. Consistency as well. Another player that I've been very impressed with, you know this because we've spoken about him previously, David Raya, man.
Another one who's never going to really get flowers like that.
Yeah, I think he's probably the best keeper in the Premier League at the moment. He's already kept 4 clean sheets. He's got the Golden Glove a couple of times in his career already. Yeah, man. So yeah, we're blessed. If you put me on the spot, I would have to say Timber.
Fair. Do you know what? Yeah, I think you're bang on. I think everyone, including myself, would lean towards Timber. We're even getting more of a tune out of him in the final third. I feel sorry for Ben White because you're not going to get too much football. And I'll be honest, against Olympiacos, it was stinky white. So you're going to have to sit down for a minute. It was smelly. I know he's not like fit and whatnot, but it just felt like Arteta was just spending the whole game just talking to you. But I don't want to discredit White because, as you know, he's put his body on the line. We've got depth and all of those kind of things. So I agree with you. I'd give it to Timber. You could argue he's the best right back at the moment in the world. I know there's Hakimi and all them guys. I think you're spot on. David Raya. Many people say our defensive outlook and the people are in front of him, it kind of helps him. And that's true. But how many times have we seen Raya bail us out this season and in general, especially when he's had nothing to do? I'd actually say Gabriel, even though I feel against Newcastle and City, he could have done a bit better. But you know what, yeah? what do you feel about Calafiori? Because I actually think he's got a case as well. You know, I think he's put in some real performances. He's a madman on a football pitch. He's even a left back. Like he's everywhere. Like he's everything.
Yeah, he does seem to pop up all over the place, doesn't he? And he likes a shot on goal. He's brave. He loves a tackle. And you can see why the Arsenal fans love him so much. And the fact that he's keeping Miles out. I mean, those two competing for that left back spot at the moment, that kind of gives you an idea of how strong Arsenal are defensively. The fact that he's keeping Miles out. And when Miles has come in, he's looked good as well. So that is one of the advantages of having such a strong squad. That if Calafiori is not able to play or is rotated, Miles Lewis-Skelly comes in and levels don't drop significantly. You know what I mean? So that's what you want. If you're going to win a title, you need a strong squad. I would argue that Arsenal's squad currently, if not the strongest, is one of the strongest. Actually, you know what I would say on balance?
It probably is.
Squad. All things being considered, you know what I mean? I think we've got the strongest squad in the Premier League, and that can be crucial, you know what I mean, if we're going to win the title this year.
You said it there. It's going to be crucial because unfortunately, I know everybody gets injuries, but it just feels like excluding, well, this year we've had injuries, but in the previous 3 years, injuries have kind of been a theme, whether it was the one where the year where Saliba got injured and Holding had to come in, the year after where we had a clean run, but when you deep it, Tomiyasu, Partey and someone else, they weren't really there for the majority of the season. Last season, I don't want to remind everyone what happened. So I agree with you. And I think the crucial thing you said there, Laurie, is if you come into this team and you don't boost the levels, make sure it don't drop off to a certain level, if I'm honest with you. And I feel our backups or the players that are backups, they're significantly better than what we had before. Like, I don't want to draw out Zinchenko because you started the inverted role, but all of the guys we got now, they might not be as have that swagger of Zinchenko in the final third, but they can do that and they don't let us drop off defensively. So you're bang on. But then let me ask you this year, because when I asked you like players of the season so far, what we said Calafiori, we said Raya, we said Timber. I gave honorable mention to Gabriel. Rice, I know he's a bit of an all-phase player, but one thing we like about Rice is he kind of protects us. Do you feel a bit concerned potentially that we've immediately leaned towards our defensive players or the players that on paper are not the match winners rather than, I don't know, a Madueke, a Saka, or a Gyökeres who me and you got to speak about, etc. Like we've kind of highlighted our defenders more than the other units.
Yeah, you know what? That is a very good question. I think if you're going to win a title, history tells us that teams that win titles generally have a really good defense. If you're going to win a title, your defense has got to be rock solid. And Arsenal do have the best defensive unit in the Premier League. I mean, that's for the last couple of seasons as well, not just this season. So far, last season as well. But you are right. If we are going to go on, there are going to be games where it's going to be tight. So you need that extra little bit of quality, or you need that clutch moment. We do have those players in the team as well. This is where it's going to be down to the manager to things like the team selection, in-game management, rotating the substitutions, making the subs at the right time, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Because it's my belief, Deluded, that the manager has everything within his capability.
That's mine as well. Look what you got.
He has everything there in order to get the job done. You know what I mean? There's no excuses this year, really. I don't see that, man. I mean, the squad, we did fantastic business in the summer. We brought in
8 players.
8 key players. All of those players that he brought in are quality players. They're all internationals, right?
Fact.
So, and they all are, if not upgrades, but they're significant, you know what I mean, in terms of talent. You know what I mean? So, so if you add that to what we had already, and we finished up runners up the last 3 years, then logic dictates that we should be there or thereabouts come the end of the season. Obviously, Liverpool, they spent more money than us because obviously they had those big hit signings, Verts.
Yeah, but we're more spreading our thing out.
But yeah, but if you look at the squads, and I've done that, if you look at the squads and analyze in depth, you will see that Arsenal's squad is as strong, if not stronger. So again, to me, it's down to the manager. There are going to be games when it's tight, when he needs to make a couple of substitutions here and there, maybe change the formation, maybe switch the tactics. This is on him now. This is why he gets paid all that money. He's been at the club since 2019 now, 6 years. He's had the experience. Time to deliver, bro.
Time to get over the line. Yeah, pressure's a privilege. And do you know what? You're right, because I know, like, it depends where people sit in it. You know yourself, because you're in this line of work. You know, Arsenal fans, if we win, where it's amazing. If we lose, get everybody out. I think one thing that, whether you're mad Arteta in or mad Arteta out, or you're optimistic or pessimistic on our title range, the players have not, from the first year we fought for the title to now, the players are not doing the diplomatic thing. They openly saying now, oh, we want to win trophies. They're not doing the whole, like the PR, like, which is right, like, oh, Arsenal should always be winning trophies. I think they're quite specific, and I even extend that to the manager. Like, the manager, I think he gave an interview on Sky Sports for the break. He was like, oh, he was talking about timing's important. We want to win. It's not nice to be second. Evidently, we want to get over the line. And I feel the players were let down last season, but they're doing their thing. I agree with everything you said. I believe in Arteta as a manager. You've got the money. More crucially, you've got the squad, and you've got a bloody good squad. Let's just get over the line. So that kind of, like, we can kind of focus on the league and Arteta, in my opinion, because that leads me to ask you, first thing, what do you make of the bookies and the supercomputers now putting us as favourites for the Prem and the champs? Because that wasn't the case 2 weeks ago, but it is now.
Yeah. I think you're going to find that that will change over the course of the season, depending obviously on how results go. I mean, I've got to be honest, prior to the season starting, especially with the business that Liverpool did, I made them slight favourites, favorite.
And because they won it as well, you got to give them
exactly, and they got the experience of winning. You know what I mean? But as we all know, the Premier League has got it's a very, how can I say? It's a very unique league, man. It's very intense. It's very physical. It's very fast. There's a lot of teams that on any given day you can drop points to. But I think one of the things that I'm kind of leaning more towards Arsenal now is the result we got at Newcastle. I think that kind of showed me that the mentality is there. You know what I mean? I mean, when we dropped points, when we lost to Liverpool and then we dropped points to Man City, I've got to admit, and I've got no problem in sharing this with you, I was questioning the manager, because I thought to myself, look, man, come on, you got to me, both Liverpool and City, especially City, were there for the taking. And I think the manager on the day, he didn't get his formation and his tactic. Just the mindset was wrong for me. I think we should have gone at it a bit more.
Exactly how we approached the Newcastle game.
Yeah.
Putting the handbrake down, as they say.
There's an old saying in life, fortune favors the brave.
Facts.
So you've got to be, you know what I mean? When you've got the talent that we have at our disposal, when you go out on that pitch, man, you've got to stick your chest out and say, look, we come here to win.
You bleed just like us.
Yeah, in those two games, I think that the attitude we gave off is one that we're here not to lose. I don't think you can win titles with that mindset when you go to some of the bigger clubs. You've got to go there, man, and try and win the game. Especially the City game, man. We should have beaten them. I've got no hesitation in saying that. To me, that was 2 points dropped.
I think we wasted 45 minutes, if I'm honest.
And I've got to be honest as well. When I heard the manager in his post-match interviews basically saying that we were brilliant and how people had contacted him and saying
CEOs are calling him and that.
And
that's great for me. But like, bro, you just win the game, bro. I hear that, exactly. But win the game.
What did he say that really stuck in my craw? He said that, yeah, the performance that we put out against City, drawing with them at home when we should have beat them by at least a couple of goals, by the way. He said that that performance was better than the one last season when we beat them 5-1. I thought, come on, bro, that is pure cap.
That is
cap. That being said, though, you know, these games have happened early in the season, so I'm hoping he's going to learn from that, because I don't really believe deep down he really believes what he said, if you know what I mean. To me, that's cap. He must know that he needs to change his approach when we play the better teams. And if you can get that right, man, I'm pretty sure we can go on and win it. We can definitely win it. I think it's a 3-horse race. Because I don't think you can write City out just yet.
I'm so happy you mentioned that, because I was going to ask you about that. I think City are just going under the radar, and it'd be silly to do that. They're handling business low key.
Yeah, you can't write off Pep and them, man. And look at Haaland; he's in devastating form at the moment. And they've had a few injury problems. So when some of their guys come back, they're going to be even stronger. So you can't write them off. Liverpool obviously going for a little blip at the moment. Obviously, they're going to be there or thereabouts. And then it's us. I think it's between those 3 teams. So I think it's going to be, there could be ebb and flow. I mean, I'd love to be able to sit here now and say, yeah, we're top, we're going to stay there till till the end of the season, but that might not be the case. I mean, they say that when you're being chased, the pressure is slightly different as to when you're doing the chasing, if you know what I mean.
Exactly. You look back too much and they might catch
Yeah.
up with you.
Yeah, exactly. Every time we turn up at a Premier League ground now, we have a target on our back. I mean, we had a target on our back anyway, but I would argue that now when you're topping the table, that target becomes bigger. Everybody wants to take down the guy that's at the top of the table. You know,
in theory, you're at the pinnacle already. Like the only way is down from first place. God forbid.
Yeah. So you know what I mean? You're constantly, if not looking over your shoulder, because really, actually, you should be blinkered and looking ahead. But you know what I'm saying? The pressure is on every time you step on the pitch. And with the Premier League, it's still early. 7 games out of 38. That's less than 20% of the season so far. So we're in a good place, man. But we've got to be focused. We've got to be blinkered and stay humble and hopefully go on and do what we need to do and win the title.
Do you think the pennies dropped for Mikel Arteta? Because for me, where it comes to that, the final third, I think on one hand, you know what, Arteta, you've got us second, we're doing our thing. It's just about getting over the line. That's why I was annoyed. Like going back to what you said about like when he was talking about nobody seeing us do that and all those kind of things, and CEOs are calling my phone. I hear that. I don't disagree with that because I haven't seen Pep camp in the way he did. But on the other hand, if we want to get over the line, we need to move past that and consider, okay, you did that, but it's a results-driven business. We need points on the board kind of thing. And I know in Mikel Arteta's mind, he must be look at that Newcastle game and think, just like what you said, Anfield, could you have been a bit more, you know, attacking centric or gone for it a bit more? Definitely, I would say for 90 minutes against City, that's where I think the pennies kind of drop. So it leads me to ask you, like, do you think the pennies drop for him? Because I do think everything's clicking. It's above my pay grade, but for me, I still think we got our defensive principles, all the stuff that's made us all right. But, you know, whether it's just putting Eze in his role, making subs when you need to make subs, going for it kind of thing. I think like we're seeing what I want to see in the final third, to the point where previously, up until the Newcastle game, so like, if I look at the start of the season and then blank off Newcastle, Olympiacos and West Ham, I was very critical on Arteta in the final third. But in those 3 games, for me, and I don't know if it makes sense to you, it's more of a thing of, do you know what? He's doing his thing. It's the players not taking their chances, isn't it? Like Eze should have had a couple. Trossard could have had a couple. Gyökeres could have had a couple. Like, do you think the pennies dropped for him now in that regards?
I hope so. I mean, like I said, I was disappointed in some of the post-match comments. But I think that could also be down to managers don't like to give too much away. So if he has made an error of judgment, he's not going to, well, most managers, unless you're Ruben Amorim, they're not going to come out and say, yeah.
He's got interviews every week, that one.
Yeah, but I mean, on the one hand, Amorim gets applauded for his so-called honesty, but then yet people say, well, how can you say that? Blah, blah. Yeah, I mean, you're never going to get that. If anything, if he does make an error, he's the kind of person that will double down and say, no. You know what I mean? I got it right. Whatever. They blame the ref for, you know what I mean? Something
bring out
like
the
that.
Statistics and that.
But he's obviously a deep thinker. He's obviously one of those guys that is very meticulous in his approach. So I would have thought that when Arsenal don't get the desired result, so for example, the Man City game is an example, I reckon that deep down he will know that there are certain things he could have done in that game.
100. That
if he gets the opportunity again, he won't make the same mistakes. I honestly think or hope that will be the case because, like I said, you know what I mean? If you're going to win a title, there are going to be games where you're going to have to, you know what I mean, show a bit of flexibility, be attack-minded, or know when to be attack-minded. You know what I mean? You can't just...
What smart.
Yeah, exactly. So you got to adapt, you got to be flexible, you can't be rigid. But he's learning. So I'm hoping that, like I said, next time those situations present themselves, I hope he knows and will do the right thing.
What have you made of Eze so far?
You know what? I'm a bit biased when it comes to Eze, man, because I love him as a player, man. You know what I mean?
Same. That's why I'm trying to ask someone else.
Yeah, so what I'm about to say, some people might disagree with, but I love Eze, bro. I think he's exactly what we needed. Yeah, man, he's a brilliant player. I would pay money to watch him play. He's the kind of guy that, you know what I mean, I would pay money, extra money to watch him play. I love his ability on the ball. I loves how sometimes he can make the game look so simple. He does have, he's not perfect. I mean, you said it earlier, Deluded. There's a couple of chances he had that he could have done better with. We saw that in the West Ham game. He missed the sitter. And I was like, right, how did a player of his ability miss an opportunity like that? He should be burying that, you know what I mean? But then there were other moments in that game, man, where he was sheer class. So listen, he will get better. I mean, so far, I'm pleased with him. Very pleased with him. So far, I think he's got like 1 goal and 2 assists. That could be more. But he will get even better.
He's warming. I mean?
Yeah, he's warming to the task. He's another one of those players. Gyökeres is the same. They're adapting to Arsenal. And Mikel Arteta has a particular way of playing. So I think, for example, at Palace, he would have been given more license to roam and do his thing, whereas Arsenal and under Arteta, they're a little bit more rigid, a bit more, the football is a bit more controlled. So,
certain places and all that.
Exactly, that will take him. And then, of course, there's the position. At Crystal Palace, he was more of a 10. And like I said, given license to roam. There may be times there will be a lot of times that Arsenal he'll play on the left wing or the left 8. So, you know what I mean? It's a different type of setup. So you'll have to get used to that. But listen, man, I'm a big fan of his. I think he's a potential game changer for us. And I enjoy watching him play. So I'm going to be a little bit biased. But obviously he can do better. And I'm sure he will do better. Crucially, he will do better.
Do you think he's bad news for an Odegaard and Nwaneri? I know Odegaard's got injured, which is a bit annoying because I feel like he was finally starting to come into his own with his cameo against Newcastle and Olympiacos, and obviously he's got injured. And I know on one hand it is a big season and there's injuries and we need a big squad. And I do think fans cry about depth and cry when we get depth, and then when players are left out of the squad or the 11, that you can't have your cake and eat it type of thing. But you know, Nwaneri, you could argue, should be exposed to more game time, and you know, Odegaard's been injured.
I think that
he's come on 3 times, in it.
Yeah, exactly. I want to see more of Nwaneri.
I think that's why I asked you. We all do, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, Nwaneri, for me, I described him last season as the most exciting young talent in the team. I don't think he's one of those guys that can feel a little bit unfortunate. He's had not had enough minutes this season. To go back to the Eze and Odegaard thing, though, I do think so. If it was me, I would like to see Eze more in the 10. But let's be honest, when it comes to the manager, if Odegaard and Eze are fit, 9 times out of 10, he's going to go with Odegaard.
His captain.
And I do kind of see where he might be coming from with that, because for the style of football that Mikel Arteta likes to play, Odegaard might suit that system just a little bit better, insofar as he leads the press better. You know what I mean? He probably gets up and down the pitch a little bit more. But for me, if you want that number 10 to, you know what I mean,
win the game,
open the game up, you know what I mean, and bring players into play, to me, I think Eze does that better than most, you know what I mean? Better than Odegaard, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. So, but listen, like I said, you can play Eze in different positions as well to accommodate him. So I look forward to seeing how that works out. But I do think if it comes down to a straight choice between who plays in the 10, if they're both fit, I think 9 times out of 10, Mikel Arteta is going to go with Odegaard. I mean, it's his captain. So, he, you know what I mean? That's what he's going to do.
Exactly, and I don't think you're wrong. And one thing that annoyed me is individually, Odegaard looked better. Again, it's above my pay grade, but I kind of saw that just in terms of form, I saw the Odegaard I'm used to seeing, but I feel like his role changed. He was more of a floater. He wasn't kind of pigeonholed on that right. As you know, because you've played the game, I know Odegaard's made a career of himself at Arsenal on the right, but he's left-footed. So like things that on the left-hand side, he could do in 1 and 2 touch. Naturally, you're going to take a couple more touches on the right-hand side. And I just think he looked free. And another reason it annoyed me is because we probably all know, like he kind of alluded to, the first choice midfield trio is probably going to be Rice, Zubimendi, and then Odegaard. But maybe because of the moment we're in and the penny kind of dropping and us being good in the final third, obviously against West Ham, we saw Eze and Odegaard start, and obviously with Rice, and then through injury, that kind of thing like didn't happen. So it's a bit annoying. I think you said it there as well, in that there are going to be times Eze's going to have to occupy left wing. Like if I had to criticize anything of the summer, which we signed 8 players, Bertie, you did your job right. I think it should have been 9 players. I think we should have got a left winger and out. And I know I'm being greedy, but I think there's scope for that left winger, really. I think there's a bunch of guys that can play there, but There's no one I'd really bet on for 30, 35 of that 38 games. This is why I'm starting the agenda around us buying Semenyo, but I'm not expecting it to be done. Like, I need it, man. I need it, man. In fact, would you make a Semenyo as well, man? Because
man,
he's
quality, man. He's quality.
Bring him.
I've been saying that from time, and he's that, like you said, that left side, left winger. Fair play to him, though. He signed a new deal at Bournemouth, and look what he's doing this season.
That's
been amazing. You know what I mean? And he's doing it against all types of teams, not just the medium or the lower teams. You saw what he did against Liverpool. I was there last season when we played Bournemouth. I was at that game when Saliba got sent off, and we lost the game. But Semenyo was the best player on the pitch that day. You know what I mean? He was a constant threat. And what you notice about Semenyo when you watch him live is that he's a big, strong guy, but he's very nimble on his feet. You know what I mean? So he's got everything. He's got pace, he's got power, he's got ability on the ball, he's got a good mindset. You know what I mean? He's brave. Yeah, he's the real deal, without doubt. I'd love to see him at Arsenal in the future, but that's a long way off. I think when the time comes, because I don't think he'll be at Bournemouth next season, especially if he carries on the way he's going.
100%.
But we're going to be one of a number of teams, hopefully, interested in signing him. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, I rate him highly.
And that's for me. I think if you get me a left winger, I'm not gonna hold my breath for January because we have spent a lot of money. And last season when we was down to our bare bones, we didn't buy anyone. Hopefully January we're in a better moment with players fit, so I can't see it happening. But it's one for the summer, innit? It all depends on the price, as you said there. You know, he signed a new deal. I think they were quoting 70-odd million. It's been linked with us, been linked with Liverpool, been linked with Spurs as well. And apparently Spurs actually made an inquiry in the summer, so we'll have to see. But away from everything, just the fact that I think his story, and I know I shouldn't necessarily care about this, it kind of is similar to Eze's in that they've been through the lower leagues. They're Arsenal fans. He actually had a trial at Arsenal and it didn't work. It just makes too much sense. And it's a bit weird because Semenyo looks a lot older than he actually is, in my opinion. The man's 25. So there's a lot of kind of resale value and all that jazz. Bring him, man. Bring him.
Yeah. He's physically a beast. I didn't realize how big he was until, like I said,
you see him in the flesh.
Yeah, because he was operating the left wing. That was on the side of the pitch.
And he can take long throws as well. So the set piece coach, you're here now.
Like I said, he's a unit, but he's not just a unit, man. He's a very athletic. You know what I mean? So
killer on the transition.
Yeah, very good.
To be fair, though, it would make sense for him to go to Liverpool. Spurs, I think he uplifts Spurs, so that would be the one beyond obvious reasons why I wouldn't want him to play there. Before we get into Gyökeres, what have you made of Zubimendi?
Oh, I've been impressed by Zubimendi, man. I mean,
finding his feet now.
Yeah, he is. He is starting to find his feet. He's looking good. Because there was that issue. I mean, Zubimendi, you all know yourself, he's not the most physically imposing. There were some people who were saying that if you're going to play in that role in midfield at Arsenal, you know what I mean, is he going to have the physical abilities, you know what I mean, to cope with the demands of the Premier League? We all know how physical it is, how intense it is, you know what I mean? And there have been one or two games where he looked like he might be struggling a little bit. But overall, I think he's done really well. And of course, he scored that worldie as well, so he can score goals. So, yeah, I've been impressed with him, man. I've been impressed.
Do you think he's an upgrade on Partey, or is it too early for you?
I think it's too early to say that, man. I was a big fan of Partey. It's too early to say that, but I do think that Zubimendi brings certain qualities that maybe Partey didn't have and vice versa.
True.
I think Zubimendi is probably a little more adept on the ball. You know what I mean? Partey is a more physical presence and can run with a ball. You know what I mean? He's a ball carrier. In a way that Zubimendi is not quite, but Zubimendi he's getting better as well. So it's a bit early to say, but I'm happy with him for sure.
I don't disagree with that, man. It is early. I agree with one of the points you made in that there were some games where I kind of think it was like welcome to the Premier League. I feel a lot of players going to come off at Liverpool away. I think Zubimendi needed to come off. I actually think Man United was a bit of a culture shock. I don't quite believe it at home to City because I think all of our midfielders were like, it's like they can't swim and you kind of threw them in at the deep end type of thing. But those are the kind of games you need him to learn from. As much as I like his goal against Nottingham Forest, it's all fun and games with the greatest of respect. The West Hams, which he did well, the Leeds, and all those teams where we've got the majority of the ball. It's them kind of games, like you referred to, like the bigger games where he might have looked out of his depth. You need him to get that culture shock. He's not an idiot. I'm sure he's spoken to his colleagues about the Premier League and he knows about himself. But I guess it's only when you're out there playing and you're in the deep end that you deep, well, everything they say is kind of true type of thing. But I don't think any summer signing has done bad, really and truly. But one that does provide differences of opinion, is Mr. Gyökeres. Now, I want to read this to you. His manager at international levels come out and said, Gyökeres is in very good form at the moment and is very good. If people say he doesn't have an impact on matches, then they don't understand football and don't have a clue about football. He creates space for other players, works on the ball and makes runs. It's excellent. It's excellent and he scores goals almost all the time. So he has an impact and has been very good. It's always nice as you need time when you come to a new club. And he did actually go as far as to say, if you don't know what he brings to the table, you don't understand football. So it's like, what do you make of that? What have you made of that? What do you make of Gyökeres so far? Like, is there any concerns? Because I won't lie, Laurie, the last 3 games, as I said earlier, from Newcastle, Olympiacos, and now, I think it's more on you. Before, adapting, not creating, all those kind of things. I think you are to blame for you not scoring goals now. But where are you at? It's no goal in 6 now for him.
Yeah. I mean, first and foremost, what I would say about those comments is, let's be honest, you would expect the national team manager to say that about his striker. He's supposed to say that. And I don't disagree with most of what he says there. I mean, let's be honest, Victor Gyökeres, his arrival at the club was highly anticipated. We were crying out for a number 9. He was brought in to solve the club's long-standing need for a consistent, clinical centre forward who could fit into Mikel Arteta's system. He's come in now. He's got 3 goals in 10 games overall. Listen, man, there have been games when he's not affected the game as much as we would like. Actually, in the last game, I think that was probably his least effective game.
Yeah, West Ham, he's a passenger.
Yeah, he did look a little bit out of sorts in that game. But listen, as we've been saying, recurring theme throughout this show, we're talking about adaptation. So what I see is a player that he's getting used to us and we're getting used to him. It is going to take time. He does have 3 goals. I would have liked to have seen Saka giving that penalty the other day. I know that Saka is a designated penalty taker, and I know that we were only 1-0 up at the time, so logic dictates that the designated penalty taker should take it. But I would have liked to have seen Gyökeres I would have liked to have seen Saka giving the penalty just to get his confidence level up, because, strikers, they're a unique breed.
They're weird, man.
We tend to judge strikers purely on the goals they get, not on what they do. We only talk about the hold-up play when they're not scoring the goal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
facts.
I still like him. I think he's going to come good. I backed him to get 20 Premier League goals in the season. I'm sticking with that.
Same.
He's already got 3. Like I said, the season is not even 20% over yet. There's loads of games to go, over 30 games. So he will get better. We will get better. He will get opportunities, and I think he'll take them. The one thing I would say, though, if you're a goal scorer, especially if you're playing for a club like Arsenal, where the scrutiny is so big, he's not scored now for 6 games. Now that's a bit of a goal drought. That's a little bit of.
Got to be playing on him as well.
Yeah, I would imagine it is, man. No matter what he might say publicly, I'm sure. And that's why I'm saying I would have loved Saka to give him that penalty and he would have scored it, because at least that would have kept his goal numbers up and given him something to, feed off. But overall, man, I'm happy with him. I don't know. What do you think? Because I know some fans are not. You know what I mean? We live in that world, man, where it's instant gratification. People want results and they want results and goals right now.
If I'm honest with you, Laurie, I think there's a lot of, obviously, I think externally, people that are not connected to Arsenal, everything we do is highlighted. You'd think Gyökeres is the only new summer edition. You'd think he's the worst performing. Not that I want to do whataboutery, but I just feel Gyökeres is like the the only signing that's happened in the summer for all of football. He's always spoken about. And I know Gyökeres ain't an idiot. He's had to deal with doubters. As you said, you're moving to a big club. We've been starved of a number 9. You knew there was going to be a level of scrutiny. And I think he's got the mental toughness, because at the end of the day, as harsh as it sounds, it's not that you can't care about outside influences. As long as the manager and your teammates believe in you and you believe in yourself, that's kind of all you need to do. 1 minute you're amazing, then you're not. We've seen it with other players. I would say it's a bit of a weird one for me with Gyökeres, is because when he was linked, and I do think there's, for what it's worth, there's a lot of nitpicking with Gyökeres, because some people need to just get over the fact that he's not going to be the most beautiful player to watch and all of those kind of things. It's a bit weird with Gyökeres for me, Laurie, in the sense that when like in the summer you're hearing about him and you're reading reports and you're looking at him on YouTube or the occasional game, it was all a whole like his general play isn't terrible but isn't the best, he's just a goal scorer. And it's almost like the opposite, because I do think your general play, you're running into the channels, all of those things are there, but the goals aren't. And on one hand, I do think we need to find him a bit quicker. I do think he's involved in the build-up play, so literally can't get in the box. Still don't think we're creating as much chances, but I think in the last 3 games, it's been more his decision-making. Like sometimes it's been on your left, you might need to get it done in 2 touches. You're taking kind of 3. Like against Olympiacos, Martinelli should have found him, but there was one incident, he kind of overran it and he tried to score from an acute angle where the right decision was to find Martinelli. And I just feel when you start doing those things, you know you need a goal. You're probably too excited. I think it naturally needs to happen. I've got complete confidence in Gyökeres. The one thing I will say though, if God forbid, but if we fast forward to next season and he hasn't delivered, I want another striker. That doesn't mean exile Gyökeres. You're just part of the squad. Let's get another one, because I personally don't want another season. And I would say, do you know what? Yeah, with Gyökeres, I do think a bit like Saka as well, Laurie. He's being marked out of games. But I'd say the one thing for me, if someone could just sit him down and show him Diego Costa videos, like I think you're a bit too nice, if I'm honest. I want to see you bully and do the Alan Shearer thing and elbows, and that's the one thing. I think there's more to come, but I think there's a beast in Gyökeres. But as you said, where you look at Zubimendi and half these guys, there is that element of an adaptation period, and not being funny. What is 7 games in the Prem, 10 in all comps, into what I'd assume is what, a 4 or 5 year deal. So I've got no concerns about him. But I will say, Laurie, like the last 3 games, I'm more looking at you than the manager, if that makes sense.
Well, I think the West Ham game, I would say he looked out of sorts. He looked off. In fact, dare I say, he looked a little bit, if not tired, a little bit sluggish. Yeah. And in a way, that's also understandable. He's coming to a new league, which, let's face it, is a big upgrade on the league he was at previously. Let's be honest.
Massive.
And the intensity and the physicality is different. So he's having to come to terms with that. He's also having to come to terms with a completely different style of play. With Arsenal, you know what I mean, our controlled approach, the tiki-taka around the box. Someone like Gyökeres, I would say, thrives on early balls into the box. You know what I'm saying? And there have been occasions so far this season where he's made the run. I've seen him make the run and call for the ball, and he's not got it.
He's not got it.
That must be quite frustrating. He's been used to that Sporting just getting it like that, boom, because he's the focal point of that team. So there is that adaptation factor. And listen, we also have to say that because Havertz has not been available, and neither Jesus, he's our only striker at the moment. So there's a big workload there, you know what I mean? But listen, based on what I'm seeing, I'm still backing him to come through. Like I said, it's still very early. He has 3 goals. I mean, he is, even though, you know what I mean, he could have got more goals, he's still the joint top scorer at the club. He's still got 3 goals. It's only 7 games into the season. So there's a long, long way to go. So I'm backing
7 shots as well. So he could, there's a lot more to go.
There is a long way to go, and he will get the service. I'm confident that as the weeks go by, he'll get better, and I do think he will be. Like I said, I'm backing him to get that 20 a season. You know what I mean?
He just needs it. Do you know what it is? It won't surprise me if he, like, against Fulham, he bags 1 or a couple and then he goes on a bit of a run. As you said, and I think everyone knows, strikers are a bit weird, no matter how tough they are. Like, when they're in a good moment, they're scoring, it's going in off their ear, they're scoring screamers. Likewise, when it's not quite working, it isn't happening. But for me, I don't know, man. It's a weird one because I don't think he's doing amazing. I definitely don't feel he's doing as terrible as the tabloids are saying. It's one where the general play.
I agree with this contributor here, what Asher said. That's what I said.
Yeah.
It was more the West Ham game that I had conceded. He looked a bit off it in that game. I think there was one incident I saw when Mavropanos, of all people, ex-Arsenal player, kind of got the better of him and dashed.
I was vexed about that. I thought he would bully him going into that game. I thought, this
like,
is
come on, man. This is Mavropanos that's doing that to you. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
We of all people know about him. Like, he
played well. I thought he played very well against Newcastle and Olympiacos. Just didn't score
against Olympiacos.
It's the West Ham game where I had some concerns. But like I said, man, it's only the one game. The international break may have come at a good time for him.
So he did for Marino.
Refresh, come back, and he'll be on it, ready to go against Fulham.
And even that, like, I know it's bad mind, and I know, you know, like you said, it was 1-0 at the time. We need to go and confirm the victory. Saka might be the designated penalty taker. I don't think he was on the pitch when Gyökeres scored his against Leeds. No. And for Saka, I think it's a landmark game. It's like his 200th or something. So I understand why. And I know it's bad mind to say, but this is what I mean by Gyökeres. Maybe you're a bit too nice. Like, you think you can't beat up Saka, just bully him and take that penalty off him. Like, I know it's so bad mind, but I wanted to take
because number one, Saka's the captain.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a bit silly, but like, I just think there's a beast to come out in this guy. Like, I just think mentality wise, if it was up to me, just sit him down and show him Diego Costa. Like, that's all I want you to do. Because I do think, Laurie, there's an element of our fan base that nitpick. I'm not talking about constructive criticism. I understand it. We're used to strikers with a bit more glee and swagger in that and things of that ilk. I don't think it's pretty, but the general play is there. And we didn't buy him for that. I'm not being funny, but he's 27. As you know yourself, if you're 27, you're not going to see him have a crisp touch and all these things. He's not going to have the general play of a Havertz, maybe a Marino, definitely a Jesus. But he can do one thing that, unfortunately, those three couldn't do on a consistent basis. Put the ball in the back of the net. So let's just make it happen, man. I think some people just need to admit this is our striker. Just support him, just get behind him. Obviously, if it continues, then that opens up the door for maybe Marino. It'd be interesting to see when Kai Havertz is fit, exactly what happens in that regards as well, man.
Listen, I mean, you know, Deluded, because we spoke many times. I was a big fan of Aubameyang when he was at the club. I don't.
We all love
that. Gyökeres is the same type of player as Aubameyang. You know what I mean? I think Aubameyang is a better natural footballer than Gyökeres is. He's also a better athlete in terms of, you know what I mean, like the pace and stuff like that. However, Gyökeres is he's a goal scorer. That's what he does. That's what it says on the tin. And I think that part of the problem that I see is that we have to play to his strengths. There's no point in like tippy-tapping around the box and, you know what I mean, delaying the passes. He needs service and he needs it early.
Give him the food he'll eat.
He's not the type of player that's going to beat two players from outside the box and curl it into the box. He's not that guy. He's more like a Haaland, but he's not as good as Haaland.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, we need to get used to how he plays and vice versa. He's going to have to adapt as well. But if we want to get the best out of him, we've got to provide him with a service, because I think I'm right in saying I don't think I've seen him miss too many sitters. You know what I mean? It's not like he's missed a load of one-on-ones that you're saying, oh, you're a bit...
That's where it gets concerning if that happens.
If that was happening now, then I'd be a little bit more concerned. And even then, I wouldn't be overly concerned. I'd be saying, well, at least he's getting the chances. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think we're giving him enough of the type of service that he needs to be the most effective, if that makes sense.
Like Eze's assist for him against, I want to say Forest, where he's laid it on the plate for him.
Exactly.
That's what I want him at the club to do.
Against Forest, and I remember it well. Eze, brilliant ball, first time across the box. My man arrives at the right time to just put it in. And the first thing he did when he scored that goal, he didn't even celebrate. He just ran towards Eze, pointed to him knowingly and said, yeah, as if to say, this is what I want. You know what I mean? Now, here's where it gets interesting. He had a similar chance, very similar chance to that, against West Ham.
Where he fell on the floor.
Declan Rice who put the ball across.
Yeah.
And he didn't time his run and he missed the ball. And we was like, rah, come on, man. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm starting to think. Is it the drought that's playing on you now?
Yeah. So I'm saying in the West Ham game, that is the one game of all the games he's played so far that I look at and think he's a bit off it today. But that happens, man. That happens. Let's see how he does against Fulham after the international break. You're probably
hopefully, man. Best case scenario, get a couple for Sweden, and then it happens at Arsenal, and then we're gone. I just think, honestly, if he gets 1 or 2 against Fulham or within that 2-game period, I think he goes on a little bit of a run, really and truly. And one thing I'll give him, he does occupy the centre. I know you're a striker, that's going to happen, but I do think you kind of drag people away from Saka. Saka's still getting tripled up against, but there's less players to kind of contest with. So I'll give him all of that. But it's just we need the goals now. And I have faith in him.
Like I said, the strikers, they judge on their goals. But I will say this about him. I do like his work ethic and his work rate. no one can accuse him of ducking. You know what I mean? He's got a high work rate,
especially against Newcastle.
Yeah, he likes to put himself about. He seems to enjoy a physical challenge. So yeah, I've got every confidence that he's going to come good, and I'm sticking to my pre-season prediction that he'll get 20 Premier League goals this season.
Yeah, I'm backing that. And to be fair with you, I always look at these new signings, yeah, because I remember like a few years ago, it's irrelevant to Arsenal, but I remember Sane, when Sane signed for Manchester City, they were saying, oh, he's rubbish, he's German hype, all that kind of stuff. And I think we played them. I think Sterling scored, he was wearing a yellow kit. We played them. He had a bloody good game. And that just seemed like from then, the Sane we knew in the Premier League. And then I think that even happened with Rodri. There's many a player. So I always try and give them the first 6 months because, as you said, it's a new team. He didn't have a preseason. Maybe he's arguably playing a bit too much. There are some things he can control, like his decision-making, which even where Henry kind of done the analysis against Bilbao, definitely for me in the 3 games, he's done his thing. But there's things to do better. West Ham, I agree. If there was one, that's the one.
Players. 2 of Arsenal's best ever players had inauspicious starts to their Arsenal's career.
It's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Exactly. I can remember being in the ground. I actually arrived in the ground a little bit late, just before he scored. Dennis Bergkamp, he scored the opening goal against Southampton. And I remember prior to him getting that goal against Southampton, there was 1 or 2 fans saying, oh, man, this Bergkamp guy, he's not delivering, you know what I mean? And then he, like you said, he got that goal.
And the rest is history. And now he's got a statue and all of them kind of things, man. Like, he's not the first and he's not going to be the last. So I've got all the faith in Gyökeres, man. But it needs to happen. If we can get Gyökeres firing, get Saka firing, get all these guys firing, even Trossard and Martinelli isolated to the minutes they play, we're laughing really and truly. Like, some Arsenal fans even tell me, older than me, that there used to be chants in Thierry Henry's early days about him actually being shit. Now they'll swear blind that never happened now because you got to be shit. But it just shows you. And I don't think, because I know people probably heard you say that and me say that and say, oh yeah, he's not Thierry Henry and Bergkamp. We know that. We're not expecting him to ever be in the same realm as them. The point being, folks, for those listening, that listen, when the penny drops, the guy will be good. And I'm not being funny. We have rid out and defended shitter strikers. You know, some are in our squad at this moment in time, if I'm honest. So when we've got a killer who's ready and he done everything to sign for this club, just give the man an opportunity. You mentioned the Emirates, yeah, and it's a bit irrelevant but relevant. I know you've probably offered your thoughts, but now that I've got you here, what do you make of the potential stadium discussions around improving the capacity of the Emirates? Do you think we need that? There's even talk of going to Wembley as it's being done. Like, where are you at with all of that?
No, I think it's encouraging news, man. I mean, a club like Arsenal, you know what I mean, they're a heavy-hitting club, one of the biggest clubs in the world.
True.
And yeah, when I heard the news, I was like, yeah, man, let's do it. I mean, currently Arsenal, I mean, that stadium was once the new shiny stadium, wasn't it? But now, we can Tottenham up the road, they've got their stadium. There are other grounds, Liverpool developing theirs. So yeah, man, I welcome that. And listen, I think the primary goal, from what I understand, is to increase the capacity of the stadium to make the Emirates, from what I understand, the largest club ground in London. At the moment, we're behind.
It must be second, isn't it? Behind Spurs. Palace ain't bigger than us.
And West Ham, apparently.
Oh yeah, West Ham. Yeah, West Ham. But they had the cheat code, man. We paid for all of that, man. The taxpayers had the cheat code.
Yeah, that's true.
You're right. I forgot about West Ham Stadium, to be fair. Yeah, the old Olympics.
I think the top 5, I think it's Man United, although their stadium's a bit decrepit. I think they're about, nearly 75,000. Then Tottenham, 62,800, something like that. West Ham, 62,500. Then Liverpool, then Arsenal. So yeah, they're looking to expand the stadium, bring it up to a capacity that'll be the biggest in London anyway. And I think I'm hearing as well that will allow them to address Arsenal's substantial season ticking waiting list, which I'm told is in excess of 100,000 people.
It's which is amazing. It's like an 8-year wait.
Yeah,
I'm on it somewhere. I couldn't tell you where, but I'm on it somewhere. I've been on that since.
And obviously,
16.
They do that as well. The revenue they'll be able to bring in, you can just imagine. Because I saw a stat, it was from a couple of seasons ago, so I'm not sure if it's still the same now, where they were saying that on match days, even though Arsenal's doesn't have the biggest ground, they take on match day more revenue than any other club in the Premier League, and one of the most in Europe. You know what I mean? So obviously, if they're expanding the stadium, you can just imagine
more cash,
revenue they'll accrue there. So as long as that revenue comes into the club and it goes on the right type of things like players and stuff like that, then yeah. And not only that, the stadium, there are parts of it that could do a bit of an upgrade.
Yeah, liquor paint everywhere, really.
Definitely. So, you know what I mean? Yeah, I welcome it, man. It's obviously in keeping with Arsenal being the big club that we want it to be and think it is, you know what I mean?
And you're right, because, you know, whether it's Berta doing his job, obviously Arteta hasn't got over the line, but we've got a competent manager, a competent sporting director. We're doing things commercially. The academy's pumping out talent. We're even trying to find other players. Like you said, we're trying, and you throw in the stadium stuff. Like you said, we're trying to, well, we're maneuvering how we should have been maneuvering from the jump of moving to the Emirates, the whole caveat of us moving to that ground. You said something there, yeah, Laurie, and I'm not going to lie, it put PTSD in my head. I hope that we're in a different kind of realm, yeah, but stadiums and paying off stadiums and all of that kind of stuff, like, do you see this affecting our transfer business and the austerity measures? Like, could we go back to those dark days? Like, if hopefully we have to get this.
I mean, I saw a stat, I'm pretty sure you saw it as well. They're saying that this work that they're doing could cost in the region of 500 million, which is £500 million. So obviously that is a massive, massive investment.
Serious bill to foot.
You know what I mean? And we have seen in previous year where clubs do spend that type of money in stadiums. Obviously, it's going to affect their revenue, or, you know, not the revenue, their output of what they can buy on players. You know what I mean? Because obviously they're committed to that project. So I'll be interested to see how it works out. They're talking about, as that caption there says, playing at Wembley while that work goes on.
I'm scared for that, you know. I think it'd be shit.
Well, I remember going to a couple of Champions League games at Wembley back in the day.
That's what I'm saying. It's the second time we'd have done that.
Yeah, I think it was in the late 90s.
1998 or something.
Yeah, 1998, 99, around about that time. I saw Arsenal play a couple of games there at Wembley.
Stunk out the gaff.
Yeah, which was a different type of experience. But yeah, I mean, listen, it's ambitious, man. Let's see how it goes. I welcome it. I've got to say, I do welcome it.
I got to ask you this, because we're on the topic of stadiums, and, you know, we've kind of focused commercially and season ticket holders and that atmosphere. Like, what have you made of the Emirates Stadium's atmosphere? Like, do you think this could be an improvement? Like, what do you make of the atmosphere in general as well? Because for me, it's not the best. I think the only time it's consistently been great, probably the first year we fought for the title, that year we brought Zinni and Jesus. I don't know if it's because we were just buzzing. I don't know, man. We do have good days out, but that consistent kind of partisan madness that we want to see and make the Emirates, I don't know, man. Maybe it's just an Arsenal thing, because Highbury's, in my opinion, the atmosphere was better, but it weren't exactly the noisiest of crowds. So, like, we're not exactly the noisiest of fans, really.
Yeah. I think there's been a bit of a cultural shift as well, not just for Arsenal, for a lot of clubs. When you're 100%. And don't get me wrong, I do prefer seated stadiums. I'm not going to be one of them. And listen, I've been to both. I've been to Highbury when you stand and everyone's squashed in. And obviously nowadays you sit and it's a lot more comfortable. So if you're asking me, my preference is to be able to sit and watch the game and obviously partake in the atmosphere as well. Also, I'm not a big singer or none of that. But so it can affect forever, because you do, if people are standing and, you know what I mean, stuff like that, it does tend to allow people more license to express themselves and generate a better atmosphere.
Because you go to the games, the away fans 9 times out of 10, I don't want to boy us Arsenal fans, but they do dwarf us in terms of noise, especially the European
you get that for every club, the away support, because of the aesthetics of it. There's you in that smaller section of the ground, and it creates that kind of us against them type of thing. So yeah, you are going to get that. But in terms of the Emirates, what I would say about it, there have been games when the atmosphere has been really good. I mean, it depends on the game, doesn't it? It depends on who we're playing, how much jeopardy there is in the game and stuff like that. The atmosphere could be better. I do know that when Tottenham built their stadium, the way they constructed it is that they brought in experts to the acoustics, make it louder so that when the fans sing, the way it hit, you know what I mean, hits, is that it sounds louder than it would as normal. So I would imagine Arsenal probably do a similar thing. We'll see how it goes. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, fans tend to respond to what they see going on the pitch.
Yeah.
You can't get away from that. You know what I mean? Most fans do.
If you're looking like you're on it, naturally we're gonna be on it.
Huh?
If the players are looking like they're on it, the fans are gonna be on it. If the players look scared, they're not. Yeah, there is an element, and there's. I'm trying to avoid it, but there's been some flat days. Like I remember the 3-3 draw against Southampton, couple of fixtures against Southampton and whatnot, where naturally you can't ask fans to be up for it if you're not really maneuvering like that. That's why I give credit to the players and Arteta, because 9 times out of 10 you're on it in games, and as silly as it is, that's why I'm a big fan of at least first 5 minutes. Someone from Arsenal, don't hurt no one, but big 50-50. It gets people going, people excited, people are spending mad money anyways. The big games were up for it, innit? It's just I think we need to find that medium. But
yeah, I mean,
to do the business on the pitch, no one cares.
A, what they see on the pitch, B, the jeopardy of the game. If there's a game where there's obviously jeopardy in it, then obviously fans are going to respond to that and get behind the team. One thing I do find a little mildly irritating, though, is when I see players, they just want to throw in or made a tackle and they're doing this to the crowd. I'm like, yo,
Gabriel
bro,
Magalhaes loves it.
You focus on what you got to do, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah. But hey, it is what it is.
A couple more things to go over with you before I let you get out of here. Yeah, Timber. First thing, Timber's looking like he's getting a new deal. What do you make of that?
100% deserves it. As I've said, man, this guy is. I think it goes under the radar sometimes as to how good a player this guy is. He doesn't really give.
You're used to it now.
He doesn't really give many interviews. He's not that kind of outspoken extrovert type player. He's not English.
Does his job and goes home.
You know what I mean? Seems like a quiet, private person. So we don't know too much about him off the pitch. But on the pitch, man, the guy's an absolute beast. Like I said, best right back in the Premier League currently, one of the best right backs in the world. In fact, this may be a bit of a stretch, but I think only Hakimi for me is better. What I've seen anyway. I mean, somebody who's watching this show might be able to tell you somebody else. And listen, that may well be the case. But what I've seen, he's the best right back in the Premier League. And one of the best in the world. Like I said, only Hakimi for me is clear of him right now.
I'd go with that as well, because I know people would say, oh, Reece James, and I think Reece James is quality on his day, but let's have it right. When did you see a consistent season of what you're seeing from Timber from Reece James in a minute? You ain't seen that in a minute. Good player gets
Reece James is quality, but here's the problem with him. He's always injured.
Exactly. So it's more of a legacy rather than what you're actually doing. At least it'd be fair to say the last 18 months, like last season. I know we're focused on this year, but Timber post ACL is one for the history books. I ain't seen James do that in a minute.
Yeah, and he's getting better in all areas as well. Like defensively, like the guy's fantastic. But going forward now, he's getting better as well. I mean, I think he's created something like 9 chances this season.
Half our highlights, he's having shots or like an effort that, like even against Newcastle, where he could have scored and Zubimendi had that weldy of an attempted assist. We're getting a lot more out of our fullbacks. Like the guys, I can't praise him enough. Like this is one of Arteta's best signings, really and truly.
Absolutely.
And I know there's been a lot more
as well. He had that horrific injury, 1 game into his season. So,
do you know how strong he is up here?
Yeah,
players could have crumbled.
And when it comes to duels and that, bro, there's not many people that's going to get the better of him in a duel. Physically, he's very strong. That's one thing I can say about him.
There's only 2 games, I'll be honest, where I think, he had not a tough day. I think when we played PSG, Kvaratskhelia, he didn't destroy him, but you're playing against a good player. I think you did well against Doku, but against City, I think it was a good battle between you.
It was a good battle because I rate Doku highly. I'm always arguing with my brother. I'm always arguing with my brother Robbie about it. I said Doku is quality, and then he brings out these stats. Yeah, but he's not scored this. I go, but the havoc that guy creates, bro.
You wouldn't want to play against
dribblers in the Premier League.
Can take you on the outside, on the inside.
Yeah.
Does that little
he creates havoc, bro. You know what I mean? He's quick. He's tricky. Very skillful. Loves to dribble. Very aggressive with his dribbling.
He'll make you pop.
He's a real handful. So yeah, that was a big battle. I did enjoy that battle, to be honest, between him and Doku. So, but yeah, to go back to Timber, he's been my player of the season so far. He deserves his deal. I think the deal that he's getting, isn't it kind of similar to the one that Trossard got, insofar as it's mainly to do with a pay rise rather than
See, that's where I get a bit annoyed because I'm not on that. Like, I don't know how long. Well, it says here actually, his deal expires in 2028. Just extend that, man. At 24, you never know how life can go. Just extend that, man. I don't agree with just giving him more. Like Timber's case. Trossard, I understand it, but to a degree. But Timber, just increase the length of his deal, really. You know, again, even that you said that, you mentioned Trossard. Apparently, we've done the same with David Raya as well. We've just given him more money and increased the length of his deal.
Yeah.
I'm
Another one who deserves it, by the way.
He overly deserves it.
Yeah, another one who deserves it. For me, I mean, I know people will talk about Donnarumma and Alisson and all them, man, but for me, right now, David Raya is the best Premier League goalkeeper. That's for me. All things being considered. Talking about his agility, his command of the box, shot saving, his distribution with the ball. You know what I mean? I think at the moment,
bailed us out many a time as well.
Yeah. And I've got to say, shout out to Mikel Arteta, because when we got David Raya, I was like, right, do we really need another goalkeeper? We should really be focusing on another area of the team. But to be honest, man, he's come in and he has been fantastic. He's another guy, by the way, who I really enjoy watching. I just find him very entertaining, man.
Him and Saliba make my heart drop sometimes. They're too cool, though. But
remember when he out-sprinted Ward-Prowse and did a little
cross? He's a madman. He's like a centre-half. He wants the ball. That's the thing I love about Raya, beyond the obvious, Laurie, is his temperament. Like, he doesn't get too overawed. I think the only time, obviously he's had bad games, he's made mistakes, and he's human and that. The only time I've been kind of shook about Raya, I remember Luton away a few years ago. You remember when I think it was Declan Rice, he saved us. I think Raya even says that was his worst game. But he's doing well, man. And like you said, credit where due to the gaffer, because you're paid to make these decisions. Them times Ramsdale's stock was high, PFA nominations, all these things. You brought in Raya, we're like, oh, what's really where are you going with that? Nobody doesn't care about Ramsdale anymore. And respectfully to Ramsdale, Raya just concentrates a bit more.
He's won the Golden Glove the last 2 seasons, right?
Exactly.
I think he did it on one of them. But like I said, I just enjoy watching. I remember I went to I may have told you this story before, so if I have, forgive me. I went to the Liverpool game away last season, right? So the way things happened, we got in the ground really early. Now, I don't like normally doing that. I tend to arrive a little bit later, because it's not like there's a lot of pre-game entertainment or anything like that. But anyway,
standing there, really, players doing kick-up.
It was a nice day, so we thought, let's just go in the ground early. So we went in the ground early. And one of the good things about getting in the ground early is that you get to see the players warming up. So he was warming up right in front of the Arsenal fans, and he was going through his various drills. And the thing that struck me about him, man, this guy's agility was next level.
He's like a cat.
Then I saw some of his footwork he was doing, like crossing the ball, kicking out, with the accuracy that I was like, rah. And I've seen it in games where he's put long balls over the top and found the player. I'm like,
passing range is better than a couple of midfielders in this league, really, if I'm honest. A couple number 10s.
And then I did a little bit of research and found that back in the day, he was an outfield player. He was a striker. He's played futsal as well. So he's very good on the ball, bro. You know what I mean? And he has that kind of borderline eccentric personality that makes him very good to watch. And yes,
he's sometimes it's like he's calm but excited at the same time. You're right.
Yeah, he does do a couple of crazy things, but he's a team man as well. You always see him G'ing up the players. Whenever we score a goal, he's, you know what I mean? I like watching him, man.
And I like how he fronts up to the music as well, man. Do you know what? That's one thing I won't say. Ramsdale did say that, but I feel Ramsdale was more like a fan, if that makes sense. That's why I kind of took to Ramsdale. With Raya, it's business as usual. Like, they ask him, I know it's simple, but do you want to win the Premier or the Champs? No, we want to win both. Like, just short and sweet. He does his job. Like, and I know people
he's not the Spanish national keeper. He's not the first choice.
On one hand, I mean, the manager of Spain could turn around and say, listen, I won the Euros with Unai Simon there. But for me, I think Raya's up here, Unai Simon's down there. I don't get it. Like, I think that's just an opinions thing. But I guess, you know what? It sounds bad, man. But, you know, the fact that Raya isn't playing for Spain kind of helps me, because I'm always nervous when the players go off for international duty. Like, I'm not really sleeping good. Tackling them, I need to return.
The other thing about Raya as well, which is quite unique, is that as far as goalkeepers go, he's not that tall. I think he's only about 1 or 6 foot.
Like 6 foot on the dot, isn't it?
Yeah, so most of the other keepers you'll tend to find they're 6'4", 5 plus. I mean, Donnarumma's 6'7".
Ridiculous.
You know what I mean? Raya is not that big, but like I said, his agility, his jump, the saves he makes, bro, and the confidence that he must give to the rest of the team. You know what I mean? Because if you do get past that back four, which is unlikely, you know what I mean, and then you've got Raya to deal with, invariably he's going to make the save.
And if Rice ain't about, that's what I was saying. It's like people will say, "Oh, he's got a good defense in front of him." That's true, but like good keepers tend to have good defenses in front of them. And at the end of the day, as Laurie just said there, if Gabriel, Saliba, Timber, Lewis Skelly, whoever you want to say, they get past, how much confidence have they got? Like Raya's popping off saves. We've all played football, yeah. There's an opposite side of that, Laurie. Like, have you not? We've all played Sunday League, yeah, where you might be in defense or whatever. You don't believe in your goalie, and you know if it gets past, it's dark. And we've been there with Arsenal, so I'm happy to see Raya, man. Like we've had Ospina, Almunia, like the list of crap keepers. Runnelson's probably the worst, if I'm honest. Raya's cool. Like you deserve your new deal. This is a good question.
Let's be honest as well. We've got a very capable backup keeper in Kepa.
Is it in Kepa as well?
So, and this is what I was saying at the start of the show about the 8 new signings that we brought in. They're all quality, bro.
And this
all of the 8 man. I mean, we've not seen enough of Norgard yet. I'd like to see him get a few more games. He's another one.
I must admit,
player.
Forgot he was at the club. Hincapie as well. Only seen 6 minutes from him.
Yeah,
this is what we love. Like pressure for space is proper, and this is the first year. I know we're not gonna, as much as I want to, and I hope we can. I know we're not gonna win every damn trophy in it, but you know when people say, or the club say, "Oh, I want to compete on all silverware and all fronts and that." This is the first year I believe you can do that in theory because you've got the numbers to the point where there's always going to be dramas. Like you're at the grounds, obviously you're doing the watch-alongs. I'm sure, and I do the same. I'm sure, like when the 11 comes out and you watch to the bench, there's all talking points. Oh my God, Wanyeri's not here. What's going on here? Then the other. So we need this. We absolutely need this. Where do you have Raya in the world as well?
Where do I have him? What, sir?
Where do you rank Raya in world football for goalies as well? Like Raz is asking, is Raya top 3 in the world? Who's better than him? Alisson?
To say because he's not the Spanish number 1 even. You know what I mean?
Like, who's
am I right in thinking that the guy who's number 1 for Spain was the Bilbao keeper?
Yeah. Like, come on, man. Even the goal he let in from Martinelli, come on, man. Like, Bandili.
Well, he was at fault for both goals, to me.
You know what I'm saying? He's not better than Raya, but I don't.
We should just go off that one game. Isn't it? We can't just go off that one game. But what I would say is definitely, for me anyway, he's the best in the Premier League right now. So you got to say by logical extension that would make him one of the best keepers in the world. Now, whether he's in the top 3, I can't really say that.
5
but he's definitely the best in for me anyway. He's definitely the best currently in the Premier League. Definitely one of the best in Europe.
Only Donnarumma right now.
I would say Courtois I would put above him. Donnarumma possibly, but like I said, at the moment anyway. I'm not sure about
top 5 because Courtois there, Donnarumma's there, Alisson's there. Beyond that, well, you can't not have Raya there, in my opinion.
He's definitely in the top quartile anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's got to be there. Neuer, I guess so. His stocks kind of dropped, but he's still out here doing his thing. So that's 5, innit? Like apart from that, Chelsea's keeper's not better. Mike McGann, the AC Milan lad's not better than him. I'm not gonna lie. The black guy in goal, he's not better than him. He's a good keeper. He's not better than him. He's definitely not better than him. That's absolute nonsense. But you know what, Laurie, like it still hasn't sunk in that we're handling new contracts. Like big up Andrea Berta, because in the summer, obviously Wanyeri, Miles Lewis Skelly, Gabriel, Mr. Saliba has signed a new deal. Obviously Raya and Timber, there's talk. A lot of these players, and I would say maybe more the young players or definitely Saliba in previous years at the Emirates, we're not seeing that done. And if we're lucky until May, that's speculation every week. So the managers, the club's already doing their job. Berta's doing his job. But whether people like it or not, these players clearly believe Arsenal's the place to be. Like, they clearly believe in this. They're not different and thinking, oh, whatever. And I must admit, Laurie, Saliba scared me. Like, Saliba's deal scared me because I actually thought Saka would sign a new deal before him. I thought Saliba likes being here, but Real Madrid are in his ear. You run down your contract. I was a bit nervous, really and truly. So that leads me to ask you about Saliba then. Like, how big of a scalp is it for him to sign a new 5-year deal?
Oh, that's massive. That's massive. Although I would caution with some of that, because it doesn't mean that he's going to automatically stay.
Yeah.
But what it does mean is if he does go, then, you know, I mean, Arsenal will benefit financially from him signing the new
I need
deal.
100 million for him.
Yeah. But what I was encouraged about was the words he said. So if he's to be, I take him at his words when he says he's very happy that he doesn't want to leave until he's secured at least a major trophy. And it would appear that not just him, but Wanyeri, Raya, Trossard, all these guys, they seem to be very happy at Arsenal. Yeah, Lewis Skelly. The one thing that seems to be the recurring themes that they've all expressed real happiness with the club, with the project, with the process. So yeah, that's a good thing. That means that the vibes within the camp are very good. You only have to listen to what these guys are saying. They're all saying the same thing. They're really happy at the club. They want to win things. So as an Arsenal fan, that gives me great encouragement to see that these guys are enjoying their time at Arsenal, because that's a big part of it, man. It's like anything else, isn't it? You've got to enjoy what you do to get the best out of yourself. So if they're enjoying being at the club, that's great news.
Yeah, and big up the gaffer. But then that leads me to ask you, like, do you think Saka signs a new deal soon?
Yeah, I think he's hinted.
I thought that's a formality still.
Yeah, he's hinted that he's Arsenal through and through, isn't it? And he's they've been very clever. He's got the captaincy. You can see he loves the club, man. You can see it. When the man was injured, he was turning up to all the games, you know what I mean, supporting the guys.
I was at Fulham last season, Fulham at the Emirates, when he came back and scored. And we were speaking about atmosphere earlier. Like, that was one of the best times I've been at the Emirates, because when he came on, or whenever he was warming up, it felt like a homecoming. It felt like a family barbecue. And I always think for footballers, like, you must look and think about those things sometimes. Like, you're cool here. They value you, really value you.
Yeah.
I must admit as well, one Saliba as well, yeah. Like, obviously, you lot were out there in, where did we go? Hong Kong or wherever it was, yeah. And Curtis obviously asked him a question, and he was like, how he hopes to sign it. At that time, I thought, oh, is he doing the PR thing? I hope you're not capping. So big up Saliba for delivering, bro.
Yeah, I mean, we've all seen the supposed interest from Real Madrid, and let's be honest, Real Madrid do tend to get their man. However, in the meantime, while he's here, he's giving his best, and long may it continue.
That's all we can. That is all we can hope for, man. So hopefully, in fact, my last thing for you, Laurie, I can't have you here and not look at the fixtures. Now, obviously, Newcastle away, as you indirectly said, yeah. Normally that would scare us, and it probably still does, but fair enough, we came through that test and we probably should have scored a lot more. West Ham at home doesn't scare us as much as Newcastle, but it's a game that we've shot ourselves in the foot. We came over that. So then it leads me to ask you, yeah, let's just focus on the Prem. So let's just look at the next 5 games. That's Fulham away, that's obviously Palace, that's Burnley away, that's Sunderland, and then it's the North London derby. What are you saying for them? Like, what do you feel about the run of fixtures? Like,
well, what I would say is, compared to our first 6, this is not easy, but it's less challenging. You know what I mean? I would say that the first 6 were a bit more challenging. We've come through that. We topped the table. So we've got every reason to be optimistic. I would say, though, that Fulham game, we can't go into that game too overconfident, because they did beat us last season. That was one of our worst performances last season.
Yeah, yes, facts.
So we need to put that right. Then we got, I think we got Atletico Madrid in the Champions League. Then we got Crystal Palace at home.
I'm scared of Palace at home, because I just think they're one of the most informed teams. Like, I'm not scared that we can't beat them, but it's like, it's not a formality type of thing. They're like, Glasnow's doing a great job.
Yeah. Then we got Brighton in the EFL Cup. We need to win that. We need to win a trophy. We got Burnley away. Now that's probably not going to be easy. They will make it difficult for us.
Yeah, we're going to set piece smash and grab settings, in my opinion. Literally get out of there.
Yeah, then we got Slavia Prague, and then we got another game with Sunderland, which is
another one that's going to be difficult under the lights.
Granit Xhaka, the Granit Xhaka derby.
We need to know how to exploit Xhaka. Arteta, you found a way to hide his weaknesses in the last season. Last season he was here. Exploit all of that. If Sunderland and Granit Xhaka come out of that game looking decent, even though they're doing all right, something's wrong. And then you got
the of the promoted teams, you could argue that Sunderland have been the best.
They're doing their thing.
Oh, yeah. And that atmosphere there, man, I've not been to the stadium a lot, but my brother told me that's serious.
But you know what time it is? That's them typical welcome to England kind of grounds. They're going to be living and breathing every kick. They're on it. There's probably a bit of a fearless aspect, because if they win, there's bare headlines. If they lose, it's a formality. you know what they say? Every game's a cup final. There's no easy games in the Prem. And admittedly, with Arsenal fans or Arsenal, we're in that weird little point, where we're kind of confident against the top 6, whether we win or lose, to the point where City and definitely Liverpool, Anfield, we're saying, Arteta, why didn't you attack more? It's these kind of games, Burnley away, Sunderland, I wouldn't quite say North London Derby. It's them kind of games where you're like, they're the banana skins. So I hope the players have learned.
I mean, you say there's no easy games in the Premier League, and I do agree. However, West Ham, they a lot to debunk that myth, to debunk that assertion the other day, because we made them look poor, man. You know what I mean? That was light work.
And Forest looked like,
and they're another team that beat us last season. So if we're going by that, then that shows that Arsenal are up in the levels, because that West Ham game was, I would say, and no disrespect to West Ham, because I've got a few brethren of mine that are West Ham fans, so I'm not on here to disrespect them, but I'm just being honest. We made West Ham look second rate. We didn't even get out of second gear, and we still beat them 2-0. That could easily have been 4 or 5. We spoke earlier on the show about Eze missing an easy chance. Gyökeres missed an easy chance.
It was light work. Got the 3 points cut out.
Yeah, light work, to the point where some people I know were disappointed that it was only 2. They're saying we should have really put it on them.
The last 3 games, I must admit, I think that as well. I think we could have scored a lot more. I definitely think Newcastle should have had about 4 in the first half. Olympiacos the same. So we're saying all of this, and we all know we're not in the final form, and there's still the backdrop of, we're going to win the title, and can Arteta make us attack and that. For me, obviously,
even though there were relatively easy games in terms of we were so superior, we do have to stay humble, because, you know what I mean, we're making teams look second rate, but at the same time, we've got to focus on our performance and do what
we need. Top by a point. We can't get excited. Like it's October.
Yeah, but I was like quite surprised at how easy that West Ham game was, because I was thinking West Ham, they got a good record against us recently.
New manager as well. I thought
new manager.
Bounce.
Yeah, and they have some good players. Jared Bowen, Paqueta. I like the guy Somerville, Christian Somerville, but we shut that down, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
they were just doing cardio.
Yeah. So yeah, I was very encouraged by that. When we played Fulham not been in the best form this season, but you can guarantee they're going to try and raise their game when we play them. Especially
Adama's going to turn into a player, as he always does. Our boy Smith Rowe might have something to say if he does get minutes.
And whenever it's the first game after the international break, you will see that renewed energy from a lot of teams. It's almost like, right, yeah, bang. So some of the players, not all of them, at Fulham would have had a rest. You know what I mean? I'm not sure all of their guys are internationals or whatever.
And Saka's playing all the England games, Rice the same, and all the others for their countries.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of moment.
So when players come back from the international break, you will get that initial burst of energy. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that Fulham game. And like you said, we've got those games that will take us. The Sunderland game will take us up to the next international break. And I think the game after the international break is Tottenham, which will be a massive, massive game.
And they look better under Thomas Frank structurally than Postecoglou. So that's going to be a different test, man.
100%.
But we have to win that. Even that, now that you said that, oh, bloody hell, man, how many international breaks do they want? Because you said that, I'm looking at it, like we play on the 8th against Sunderland, and then we're sitting down again until the 23rd of November. And then, boy, to be fair, our run from November to the end is mad.
We got 7 games after the international break that take us up to the next international break. And they're all winnable games, but like I said, we've got to be humble, we've got to stay focused. But as I kept saying throughout, we've got the squad now, you know what I mean? So there's no excuses. It's up
to man should be back fit by then as well, God willing. So we just need to get the job done, man. But I've never felt this confident about silverware. I won't quite say we're gonna win the Prem and that, but I think we've got a flipping good chance as much as anyone. Champions League, for me, you just get through the league phase and then you play it by ear. I think we've got a good chance of picking up domestic trophies. I don't know how the FA Cup's going to pan. I think it'll be a travesty if we don't win silverware this year of all years. And I don't think we can afford not to. There's no reality where we can't not win silverware. You have to, or right, it might be on the wall. There's some questions that need answers, or something needs to change, bro. Like
I don't even want to think that.
I don't want to think that. I might cry if we don't win silverware, like genuinely, because then I'll believe we're cursed. Like we're genuinely cursed now. Like it's not going to happen now. If we
he
don't
has
do
to win something. I mean, the squad is there, man. Like I said, if you got the best squad in the Premier League, you've got to be winning something. If you don't win the Premier League, you've got to win either the Champions League. At the very least, he's got to win one, if not both, of the domestic cups.
There needs to be a parade.
So I will be extremely surprised if we don't win anything this season. Honestly, I will. I'm not. That's no cap. That's just how I feel.
I feel that way as well, man. Like, genuinely, like, I know trophies are not a divine right and you got to turn up on the day and that, but genuinely, I'll be surprised because more than anything of ability and what we've done, I think the manager wants it, but the players, I think the players have this, they just really want to get it done. I don't think anyone can say, I'm not here to say we're mentality monsters, but all those buzzwords that used to fly at Arsenal, like they don't want it, they ain't got no cojones, that can't fly with none of these players, from the young ones like Max Dowman to the oldest one in the squad who's probably Norgard. Like, there's something here, man. If it was up to you, the priority would be champs.
You can attribute the term mentality, not saying that you are, by the way. I'm just saying in general. I don't think you can give that term or apply that term mentality monsters until you've won something.
Yeah, that's where I think we need to go.
But what I would say is that after the Newcastle game, I saw signs there that the mentality this year is a little bit different than previous years. So I'm not going to give them that. I'm not going to give them that title yet, because they've not deserved that title yet. They've not won nothing yet. But what I am seeing is a mentality that is different to previous years. And shout out to my man Gabriel, because he was at fault. Let's face it, he was at fault for that first goal that Newcastle scored. He could have got sent.
And he nicked it for us
after the penalty, after the incident with Walter Mard. But then the man pops up and scores a winner in the 90-odd minute. You know what I mean? To me, that is signs of a team that fight to the end. And yeah, so that's very encouraging. But I'm not going to label them mentality monsters yet. Show me the trophies and then I'll say yes.
Yeah. Because as much as it's about defeating anyone in the final of the league, I think we've got to defeat ourselves. I think we've got to look at the men in the mirror, really. Like, and whatever way we shape it, we've banged on the, we've knocked on the door. We need to break it down now. So I just hope Mikel Arteta and the players do this thing, because I don't, you know how it goes if we don't win a title. I'd rather us just win and be great, because I don't want to entertain talk about sacking this one and this one ain't good enough and all of the kind of buzzwords. I just think the players, the fans, the club, the manager, it's about time we just get over the line, if I'm honest with you. My last question for you, if I let you get out of here, yeah?
Sure.
Inspired someone in the chat. Is the Carabao Cup / FA Cup enough for you, Laurie, to give Arteta another year?
You know what? That is a question that I've been asked many times. Listen, what I would say, prerequisite is that he's got to win a trophy or two this season. But then if he done, I don't see the board getting rid of him, because I do think that they're very, him and the Kroenke seem to be very close. They've, you know, I mean, they put their faith in him and given him a lot of money to spend. I do agree that spending money is a blessing and a curse, because if you spend money and you don't get the required success, people are going to call for your job. But I do think he is going to win something this season. I'm hoping it'll be the title. Of the 4 competitions, the Premier League, the Champions League, the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, of those 4, my preferred choice would be the Premier League, because I think
might be the champs.
To call yourself champions of your own country is, to me, what you should be aiming at. The Champions League is like a bonus, but the 2 domestic cups give him a little bit of license insofar as if he wasn't to win the Premier League. Because let's be honest, the Premier League is not an easy league to win. You know what I mean? It's going to be very difficult. If we was to just fall short, like it went down to the last week and we just missed out, but he was able to back that up with a domestic trophy or 2.
And shave a bit of face.
Yeah, I think that would just about suffice. But he's got to win something this season, 100%.
That's the underlying factor. Is it? You've got to win something. I know people be disingenuous if it's only a League Cup or an FA Cup, and I say disingenuous because I think there's fair to say, oh, that might not be good enough. You wanted a bit more. I believe in that in isolation. But in May, where Spurs were winning and Palace were winning and this one was winning and that one was winning, people were saying a trophy's a trophy. Something is better than nothing. You know how they do the whole more successful season and all of that. So you can't say that then and then move the goalposts, in my opinion. I agree with you in that. I think if you don't win silverware, you're not getting sacked anyways, because we've heard by Ornstein and all them guys that the pressure that is shared externally is not the same internally. I think for me, I'd like the champs. I think we're the biggest team to have not won that. Like, if I'm honest with you, I think we need to win that. I think it's a tragedy that we haven't won that. I agree with you in the bullying your league and you're the top and all those things. And I think it's more realistic for us to win the Premier League than the champs. You could caveat that. I know some people say we're more likely to win the champs or the Prem. For me, it's more like the devil you know versus the devil you don't know. I think people have a healthy respect for us. I think we compete in all games. And I think because we've been second, like we've been sniffing at it. We've only got to 1 semi-finals under Mikel Arteta. Granted, year in, year out, improvement in the champs.
Well, he has won the FA Cup, to be fair to him. He has won.
Yeah, as well. Like FA Cup I want to win that regardless. Obviously, I'd want to win all trophies, but let's just say we won the champs or the Prem. I think the FA Cup needs to be put in the bag regardless, because I'll be honest, that's our trophy. And I feel since we've won it, we've let ourselves down. And I want to make a bit of space between us and United with that, man. League Cup, it's more, I want to win it, and it's relevant when you win it. But I think it's more for me, it's the players, that's your first opportunity. You ain't really won nothing. Get a day out at Wembley, get a taste that, you know, your hard work isn't in vain type of thing. But as Laurie said, yeah, and I think is the biggest thing is that no trophy is unacceptable. And I don't want to have them conversations and live in that reality in May of 2026. Like, you need to get over the line now. Like, it needs 100%. To come home.
I'll leave you with this, yeah? So the last time that Arsenal went 3 seasons runners-up, the next year they won the Premier League title. Now that was 20 odd years ago, but even so, you can see how that might play out. The last time we finished runners up 3 years on the trot, the 4th year we won the title. So if that happens,
they say history repeats itself, so it needs to repeat itself today. Like, we need this. We need.
In answer to your question, we simply cannot afford to go trophyless this season. That would be blasphemy, given
it's unacceptable.
Given the players that we've got now. And where we are now and the experience that we've had previously, we simply have to win something. Let's hope it's the Premier League.
A good manager.
I'd like to be greedy and say the Premier League plus something else, but yeah, we've got to win something.
I'd love to do the treble, but that's dreaming, man. No, I'd love to do the Premier Champs double.
How about that?
If we do that, then build Arteta a statue. I'll be real. I'll be real. Yeah. We just need to get over the line, man. And more time, it's like we dominate games. We've got all the great statistics. We actually cry about goals and score a lot of goals. There's so much things, whether we use our eyes or use stats that reflect we're a good team. But we need to go from being a good team to a great team. And kind of what you're saying about mentality monsters, that's kind of what I'm trying to say, in that great teams go down in history, innit? Like, we will remember some of these players, but as a collective group, and some of you individually, some of you have been some of the best players in our Emirates era. You might not necessarily be remembered 20 years from now because you ain't solidified yourself there in it, and I think you lot are too good as a group to not do that. So let's just get over the line, man. Laurie, where can people find you? Even though I've posted it in the chat, and
you can find me there. You can obviously find me on AFTV. That's my day-to-day job on AFTV. Shout out to all the guys there. And
I watched you lot's video when I think it was you, Robbie, Robbie's daughter, and Cecil. Yeah, it was all of you. Like, I watched that video.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was a fun video, man. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
It was funny to see the back and forth about Gyökeres, man.
Yeah. And obviously on my own channel, LL Sports TV, where I cover football and boxing, and sometimes I segue into some other stuff as well. So yeah, please pay me a visit on that channel, man. Subscribe if you haven't done already, and watch out for more videos on the channel. Yeah, man, that's where you can find me.
Exactly, people. So yeah, Laurie's told you where to find him, whether it's AFTV, whether it's his own platform. All the information is in the description. Go subscribe, support the Gooners, man. And next week, I guess everyone will be back making content, and there'll be more stuff to talk about. You know, we've got to big up the main man, Laurie. Appreciate you for being here. We've taken up too much of his time, so let's let him get on with his day.
Man. It's a pleasure. It's a real pleasure.
Likewise, man. It's a pleasure to talk with people that are balanced, and whether I agree or not, you're very articulate in your opinions. You're not just saying things for the sake of it in this emotional game that we love for football, man. So I got all the time in the world for you, man.
Appreciate it, man. Like I said before, your work ethic is up there. Keep it up. The quality is very good as well. So keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep doing your thing. Enough respect.
Appreciate you, my boy. And hopefully it's not in vain for any of us on our channels. And, you know, in May, we're celebrating. We've got behind the scenes that is in Islington and gallivanting and carrying on with ourselves as we win a trophy or trophies. But for now, though, people, let us know what you're thinking. Subscribe to the platforms. Appreciate you lot, because there'd be no point talking if you lot weren't here. And on that note, you lot and Laurie, enjoy your day. I'm off to the gym. We're out. Peace. Done.
Take care.
Come on. Smash the like button, man. Don't be a pagan, man. Make the channel grow, man. I need you lot. Subscribe.